Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Canadian Mosaic. I'm your host, Prashanth, and tonight, our episode is titled Aviation, Voyage into the Clouds. Statistically speaking, commercial airlines is the safest transportation out of all of the different means of transport in the 21st century. It also means that, pilots of these aircrafts have to go through rigorous training in order to obtain their licenses. Tonight, we have a very special guest joining us from Saudi Arabia. Captain Yasmeen Al Maimani was known as the first woman to become a commercial airline pilot. She had studied in the U.S., received her pilot's license in 2013, which then converted to Saudi's General Authority to Civil Aviation in 2019. Her first official flight was actually earlier this year on June 9, 2021, with Nesma Airlines. Tonight, we're getting a behind-the-scenes look at Yasmeen's journey through aviation. Welcome, Yasmeen, for joining us tonight. We are thrilled to have you as part of the show. How are you doing this evening?
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for having me in this show. It's actually my honor, to be with you guys. But I just want to correct one information. Actually, my first commercial airline flight was in 2019, June 2013, June 2019, actually.
Got it. No, it's a pleasure to have you and hear your story, Yasmeen, because it takes a lot to become a pilot, and I want to go ask you a lot of questions based on your journey, your obstacles and challenges to get to where you are today. So, just to start off with, Yasmeen, so can you tell us, why you wanted to pursue a career in aviation and your motivation behind it?
Actually, since my childhood, I always loved traveling. I really like different culture. Since when I was like 5 years old, I used to travel a lot with my family. There, I realized, I need to travel when I grew up. So I needed a job like that. But when I saw, airlines, when I saw a flight crew, I wanted to be like them. But I didn't know, like what I wanted to be exactly until, I did my high school. Then I decided to become a pilot and go to for this school.
Very cool, very cool. So growing up, Yasmeen, did you have someone that was your inspiration, or you wanted to become, or anybody like that growing up?
Truly speaking, my dad always believed in me. He wanted me to become a pilot, actually,
Really?
But here in our country, we didn't have any women pilots. When I finished my high school, I always wanted to see someone, to look at some women here, to be like them. But, unfortunately, I didn't have anyone that time. Even women could not drive in Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about 2010, 2009. That time, nobody, a woman even not driving a car. And you can't even hardly see anyone working in aviation, in airline, actually, any woman. So it was kind of challenging for me, but I had always, faith in God that I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm going towards my dream. So that's what made me, to take the decision. It was a very hard decision for me because nobody in our society like women doing any jobs or anything, so something like that. So yeah, that faith, that everything, which made me, to go towards my dream.
Absolutely, no. That's such an inspiring story. I mean, it's one of the things that I always tell people is to follow your passions, follow your dreams, kind of thing. It sounds like you really did that. You pushed through all of the obstacles and challenges in order to become a pilot itself. But for the viewers that are currently watching the show, Yasmeen, can you talk us a little bit about what actually is the training look like? A lot of because I personally met a lot of people that are interested in the aerospace industry and they want to become pilots. They're not really sure what exactly does it take because, of course, there's the education side, there is the practical side, and there's the obtaining the license part. Can you walk us through exactly what it takes in order to become a pilot in the first place?
Actually, Prashant, it's a very great question. Like everybody, when they come and ask me the same question, every country has their own requirements, what they require. Some countries, they require a diploma from, you can say, high school. Some countries, they require, for example, a bachelor's degree. Some countries, they require a master's degree. And for example, in the US, I'm just going to give you an example of US and Europe. In US, for example, you have a system. You have to go to the flight academy where you have to do some ground school, and mostly you'll finish you have to do some ground school, and then you have to start with your practical training, and then you get your license, and you are boom, you go to fly. But in Europe, it doesn't have that way. You have to go through 14 subjects, for example, and then you have to go for your flight training. It takes approximately from 2 years to 2.5 years, something. So every country, they have different criteria and different requirements. So what I suggest everyone, whoever wants to go in this field, so do learn what your current country wants, and what's the requirement and what's the airline requirement which you want to join in future.
No, so that's a good point to note as well too, because every country has different legislations and different kind of processes and stuff. But the thing is, especially let's take Saudi for example, right? Because it is a kind of a challenging field for women specifically. Do you have anything to say to them? Because you've endured a bunch of challenges over time, like based on what I've seen in your Wikipedia page. But do you have anything to say for women that are kind of looking into it? Because in this industry is supposed to be both men and women, but of course being in Saudi Arabia, it is kind of restricted to men. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm gonna a little bit talk about myself. Okay, for example, when I did all my training, I started working here in Saudi Arabian aviation field like in 2012. Started because I wanted to get in to show them that look, a woman can work in management and can be a pilot. Okay, so it took me 4 or 5 years. I did my first flight in 2019. I finished in 2012, 2013, and then I first flight was 2019. So it took me a lot of time to to prove myself, myself as a woman, to that I can fly an airplane. So every country, again, they have like different criteria. For example, alhamdulillah, because of the King Salman and Muhammad bin Salman, alhamdulillah, I got this chance, this opportunity to be something, because here within you can say 2-3 years, mashallah, our government, our kingdom, we have too many women empowerment programs in all the fields, and aviation among them. So yeah, being in Saudi Arabia, it was kind of difficult for me. But any other countries, alhamdulillah, I see like a very big number every year is growing. Like you can say in India, you can say in Pakistan, mashallah, they are having lots of women pilots. Yeah, mashallah, not just vice captains. You have in the Air Force, you have engineers, mashallah, they're doing great. So I'm hoping the same should be in Saudi Arabia, inshallah, very soon.
Yeah, no, that's you set a fine example for all the women that are kind of looking it up, and a lot of people are mostly going to the cabin crew and things like that. But now you've kind of set an example that, hey, you know what, women can become pilots, and that's a really great message to showcase as well too, because you've done something unique that not a lot of people have done in a little while. So you should be definitely proud of your accomplishments. And let's say that you didn't choose a career of the Air Force. Did you have something else that you're interested in? Or do you want to be something else, or you've always just been focused on the airline industry?
Truly speaking, I was a little bit in entertainment as well. I was a little bit, like how can I say, I could be doing something in radio, for example. I could be talking more to people. Maybe I could be a doctor, maybe an engineer. So I like the whole every field. It's like something is my favorite there.
Yeah.
But aviation was always I was attracted to. It's been my passion. Like if you ask me if 10 years ago if I would choose something else, I would say no. Still, I would choose aviation again and again. Yeah.
That's an excellent answer. That's the answer I was expecting actually, because if you are passionate about something, there's nothing should really come in your way. So I want to ask about your first flight experience, Yasmeen, because what was the experience like? Because training and being under supervision of other people or something else. But what was the experience like for you when you actually drove that plane in June 2019? Like, tell us about that experience like.
That flight was for me something magical, okay, because I have been like struggling, you can say, for 8-9 years since I finished my training. So that flight was, in my mind, if I'll be able to do this flight or not, because everything, it was there is not allowed for a woman to do this. So me being a woman, to fly this aircraft, it was like something, something so big for me. And in my first takeoff, I was like so much. I'm not gonna say I was worried as much. I was excited, and I couldn't believe what's happening actually. And I did my first takeoff. After doing my takeoff, I had tears in my eyes,
Wow.
and my captain was looking at me, like, what's happening with you?
No.
So when I explained to him, and he was, he was really, so happy that he was the one who gave me, who sat next to me and saw this moment.
Wow, that's a very inspiring story. Like I can kind of relive what you're kind of going through. But what
Yeah,
was the experience like? So like I mean, I'm sure you've done a bunch more flights since
yeah.
then. But what's your experience like when you're actually like going through the clouds? Traveling through. You just said you yourself and the crew, and then you're just like driving. What is your thought process like? What do you do? What does it feel like?
What I do, first of all, I live the whole experience, as much as I can. Some people say, okay, you're already there and it's not exciting anymore. But no, whenever I have a flight, I do live every moment of it. Since I know, like, I have a flight tomorrow, let's say, I start living this experience because, it's such a great experience. I can't even, explain it to you in a few words,
Yeah.
because it did not come to me easily. I had to really struggle for it. I was like doing everything possible in my 9 years past to be in this position. I was even, cleaning the aircraft, to see me and give me the chance here to make me fly. But some companies, they just, promise you, and then they're not letting you to be one until I got a chance. So it was like something, so precious for me, that to be in that kind of situation, to fly this, right?
Uh,
So yeah, this is what happened.
No, that's it's like every question that I ask you, like you're very inspired. I
Yeah,
can tell that you've gone through a lot of struggles in
yeah,
order to get to where you are to. So
yeah,
right now, like I mean, are you constantly educating yourself because technology is changing?
yeah,
There's newer
yes,
way things are coming in, and there's a lot
yeah,
of improvement. So are you constantly educating yourself, or how does that look like when you become a
yeah.
pilot? Are you constantly training and doing more education yourself, or how does that look like?
It's a very good question, actually. Every five people think, halas, they became a pilot, now they now quit studying and you're already flying an aircraft. No, every pilot, they have to go through exams and through tests and also currency. You have to do your checks, and every 3 months, 6 months, everything. You have to keep studying. And for me, especially, what I'm doing, I'm doing my higher education. I'm also doing my master's in aviation safety,
Wow.
as well, to do, to be more in aviation management and be a pilot as well. And also, I'm working, inshallah, on my captain's career, inshallah, very soon.
Wow. You're always on the go. You must be a very busy person then. So always,
I'm
studies,
trying.
piloting, family, and then
Yeah,
now these type of interviews and
yeah,
things like that.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah. No, it's commendable, right? So, Yasmeen, like, was there anything that was dangerous as part of your training or anything like that? Because flight training is something different to, let's say, becoming a doctor or an engineer or something like that, right? So, was there anything like specific or something that was dangerous that you had to kind of go through during your training period by any chance?
Look, I'm not gonna say a danger or anything, but every person, they have, when they go for something, like aviation, like even medicines, okay, what they have to do, they have to keep learning, they have to keep educating themselves, okay. For example, when we are going for aviation trainings and all, what we are trained for, not just flying the aircraft, what are we trained how to overcome any emergency. So we are
Hmm.
always, keeping ourselves ahead of any emergency or any, critical situation, to be there. So I suggest everyone, whoever going in a different field, whoever wants to go in a certain field, should educate, do more educational sessions or courses or something to know the situations, what can they face in the future, what they can face during their training.
Hmm.
So it's all about learning and knowing your procedures. You can say your manuals, your books. You just keep educating yourself, and then you'll be ahead of the game.
No, definitely. Like I can only imagine how much changes that are constantly happening, like, especially with the whole computerized
Yes,
world, and everything is being more like automated and things like that, and new
yeah,
legislations that are coming in. I can only imagine how
yeah,
much training you have to endure. But
yeah.
do
I
you
have to
enjoy?
add
Yeah,
something here. I want
sorry.
to add something here. Like when people say automation and autopilot and all, what happens? People think like automation is coming and it's making our life easy. Okay, it's making our life easy, just reducing our stress, or just helping us. But we cannot depend on this automation completely. So at the, sometimes it comes to you when autopilot, when all this fails, then you have to take the control and fly this whole aircraft by yourself. So
Right.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. Do not rely and do not depend on the automation completely, especially when you're a pilot and and this kind of jobs. Just keep educating yourself again and again. I'm gonna say the same thing again and again.
No, I kind of imagine too, because I think end of the day, a human presence is really important. And when things do fail, you do have to kind of take control and make sure that you actually land the aircraft or even like take off properly as well. I completely
happened
understand.
with me, that's why I'm saying. That's why I keep saying that, because during one of my flights, our automation failed. Okay, autopilot failed. Then we had to take the control and fly it, like manually until we landed, because sometimes it happens. Sometimes you have fault warnings, and sometimes you have automation failure. You have sometimes engine failure, so you have to know all the procedures what you're going to do.
Absolutely. Completely understand. So I want to hear more about this, Yasmeen. So we're going to take a short commercial break, folks. And when we come back, we're going to take a closer look at Yasmeen's story of, becoming a pilot herself and getting her license. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's good to dream big, to own a house and a business. Get residential and business loans. Get insurance to protect your dreams. Get your children in university education without monetary worries. Invite your family from back home to share your success in Canada. Me and my team of professionals will help you under one roof to settle down in Canada.
Amber Financial and Allied Services. Call now 647-887-1696. Amber Financial and Allied Services. All services under one roof.
Zoc. Now it's fully renovated. Live catering, barbecue, tandoor, जलेबियाँ और fresh naan. तकरीब आपके घर में हो या घर से बाहर, Zoc is providing full service now, and Zoc has opened a new banquet hall, garden event center. आपका Zoc देखकर लोग कहेंगे क्या Zoc है आपका? Call right now 905-625-7786. Zoc वालों के लिए.
आपकी रिहाइश ऐसी हो जहां जिंदगी की सहूलत मयसर हो, जो आपको बुलंदियों पर ले जाए, तो मिलिए रियल एस्टेट मार्केट के एक्सपीरियंस्ड रियल एस्टेट प्रोफेशनल अमित ओबेरॉय से. GTA में रियल एस्टेट मार्केट के हर अंदाज से वाकिफ. आपको घर खरीदना हो, बेचना हो या करना हो मुनाफे का इन्वेस्टमेंट, मेरे तजुर्बे से आज ही फायदा उठाएं. आज ही कॉल करें. अमित ओबेरॉय 647-291-8102. अमित ओबेरॉय, ब्यूटीफुल होम्स यू कैन अफोर्ड. डिक्सी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अप्लायंसेस पिछले 16 सालों से खरीदारों की खिदमत कर रहे हैं. हम लगातार 4 सालों से खरीदारों की पहली पसंद बने रहने का अवार्ड हासिल कर चुके हैं. हम किचनर्स, बॉश, वर्लपूल, LG, सैमसंग और जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक के ऑथराइज्ड डीलर हैं. 5 स्टार खिदमत का लुत्फ लें. हम आप सभी को टीवी सबसे ज्यादा रियायती दामों पर देने की गारंटी देते हैं. www.dixieelectronics.ca हमारी वेबसाइट पर जाएं या अभी कॉल करें 905-625-5900. सभी बहुत ही मुनासिब कीमत पर दस्तयाब हैं, जो आप बाआसानी से ले सकते हैं. At Dixie, we sell quality and deliver confidence.
अगर आप चाहते हैं खूबसूरत विजिटिंग कार्ड, साइन बोर्ड्स, बिल बोर्ड्स, तो कॉल कीजिए अमनदीप सिंह को 416-577-5128. 416 डिजिटल साइन. कॉर्पोरेट इवेंट्स हो या शादी की तकरीब, बर्थडे एनिवर्सरीज हो या हो बेबी शावर, और अगर आप चाहते हैं स्टूडियो सेटअप, रेंटल बैकड्रॉप्स, हार गजरे या पार्टीज के लिए फ्रेश फ्लावर अरेंजमेंट, देन कॉल आफिया खान at 416-628-7849. Essence Event Decor, creative, elegant and unique.
Welcome back to Canadian Mosaic, folks, and we are here with Captain Yasmeen from Saudi Arabia. And our focus tonight is about exploring the field of aviation. In our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about behind the scenes of the struggles and challenges of a pilot goes through. So Yasmeen, I must imagine there must be a lot of things that you need to do that must be in check before, taking off on a flight. So can you talk a little bit about, what that really looks like? Because end of the day, you're in charge of safety of not just yourself, but so many other people, right? So what does that check actually looks like?
First of all, whenever you're going for a flight or anything, you have to make sure you are meeting all the requirements. For example, you did all the preparation for your upcoming flight. and for example, you got enough sleep. For example, you had all the meals, all the required meals. Because whenever you go, you have to be you're in full health, full health. If you are having like a headache or any tiredness or any sickness, so you should avoid. Because first of all, you have to take care of yourself for your health before doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you go for any strange flight or any new destination or anything, you have to do enough preparation to see your charts, to see your aircraft, to study your aircraft and all this information before you leave for your flight.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Are you actually following, a strict diet and things like that? Because, you are on the air for quite a while. So is that something that's been prescribed for the pilots, or?
I'm not gonna say every pilot, because you can see like all kinds of all kinds of human being. Okay, but for a pilot, it's very important to follow a good diet, which will keep them healthy, especially during their flights, because the flights is very sometimes distressful. Sometimes you are having weather problem. You can find any kind of emergency. So just you have to make sure that you are in a healthy mind, in a healthy body, so you can do any actions.
No, brilliant. So, Yasmeen, I want to ask a specific question about, being a woman in this field, right? So, do you face any notable, challenges or even advantages that you might have, navigating through the politics as well as, crew and staff and everything like that? So, do you see any, advantages or even challenges as well? Because I'm sure there's a bunch that we don't see every day. But your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was expecting, because before getting in my first flight, I was having all these kind of questions. How are you going to go there? What you'll be wearing? What you'll be doing? You'll be wearing a abaya, or you're going to be wearing your uniform. So what people will say when they look at you. I was having all this fear, because of the media when they start asking me this kind of questions. But when I started, going to the airport, actually in my uniform, I found that, completely opposite thing. I saw people like everybody was very inspired. They were coming actually, after the flight to the cockpit. They wanted to take pictures with me, with their kids.
Wow.
And all. So, it was completely opposite. I was hoping, because also where I did my flight, it was like a small city in a northern region of Saudi Arabia. It's called Hail. People are like a little bit, I'm not going to say strict, but they're like a little bit, like abaya, hijab and all. Everybody here, I can say everywhere is same, but in Hail is a little bit more restricted, you can say. More restricted, okay, a little bit. So I was having some kind of fear from Hail, but no, it was turned out to be very opposite. People are like so nice and welcoming and very, very nice people.
Good. So how did your family react? You said your dad was your most inspiration. They must have been really proud to see their daughter taking off like that. So what was your immediate family's reaction like?
Of course, they were like so happy. I wanted my dad to see me, actually, achieving my goal. Actually, it was his goal before mine. So I really wanted him to see. That's why I was working too hard to be in that position in that uniform for him to see me that his daughter actually achieving something. Because at the end of the day, when I was traveling to do my training and all, people will come ask him, why are you sending your daughter to do all this training and all? At the end of the day, she won't get anything here in Saudi Arabia. She'll be sitting at her home and all this kind of comments. Why I'm being so honest here, because I want you to live with me what happened with me, in reality. So that's why I was so happy, and even I was happy that my dad could see his daughter achieving her goals.
Wow. No, that's brilliant. No, I wanted you to be as honest as possible, because one of the next questions that I have prepared for you is to find out the actual struggles that you had, right? Because you did get your license a while ago, and then it took you this much time, right? So can you share some insights of what actually went through? You must have been, at times it might have been difficult. You might, the days are getting passed by and just sitting there. So can you walk us through like your journey of, how you kept yourself motivated and all the challenges that kind of happened, right? Because, you got your early license back in, when was it again? 2012, was it?
13.
13,
yeah. 2013, yeah. When I came back from US in 2013, I couldn't find any airline job. I was like, just taking my license and going in each and every company. But some people, they were rejecting me for no reason. I was just being rejected for nothing. I was doing all the examinations and evaluations with the guys, my friends and everyone. So I was kept told that I cannot to make it because we have no woman because we don't have any woman working in aviation field till now. So first, what I had to do, I have to enter in the aviation field as a management. To be with them, to prove them that a woman can do management and fly as well. So I took too many positions in aviation. I can say in flight operations, in flight safety. I was on the ramp. I was with the cleaners who were cleaning the aircraft just to be next to the plane. To be there at the Saha, how to say in okay, just at the ramp, at the airport. All the time, my days was at the airport, my nights were with the management, so it was just like that.
Wow.
So
you were like living and breathing in the airport for a very long time, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I was doing like all kinds of paperwork. I was doing all kinds of documentation just to reach to that point. So one day has come, alhamdulillah, like after women started driving in Saudi Arabia, alhamdulillah, I also got my chance to, enter as a pilot.
Brilliant. So, what is your dynamics like with yourself and your coworkers, your cabin crew, and things like that? Because I assume you probably have different sets of cabin crew from different flights and onwards. Are you guys all one team? Like you guys have a team? How what's your dynamic? What's the dynamic like between you and your fellow coworkers in the aircraft?
Now you start asking technical questions.
Hey, I want to know. I want to understand what your journey is like because I think it's good to share because a lot of people are wondering, right? Because it's a bit of an unknown because you don't hear about this journey very often. Doctor, engineer, consultant, things like that. It's pretty common. Everybody hears about celebrity. Aviation is something you don't hear every single day. Sorry, continue. Yeah.
It's pretty different question, from all the questions I got earlier. Okay, what the dynamic looks like is every aircraft, okay, whenever we have like a new aircraft in a new company, okay, every aircraft has a 4 set of crew. This is the specialty of this job that you don't fly with the same person again and again.
Right.
Even the crew again and again. Maybe you will meet one or two, but not the same crew at one time, Like the company is big, you're gonna meet like every day a new person with you, flying a new person with you, and having new crew, new set of crew. That this is the thing I really love in this job. It's not a routine type, So every day you have like a different crew, different captain, and different aircraft, you can say. So this is the great thing about it.
No, that's brilliant. No, it's it's because it must be like you're making new friends every single time. At the same time, you're learning a lot, but there's also times that you may or may not be, getting along with somebody okay. But it looks like you're handling yourself okay so far.
Yeah. Because it depends on the company policy. For example, some companies they are having for each aircraft you have 5 set of crew, 6 set of crew. Which I saw minimum. One of the company has 4 set of crew. So every day you have different kind of people flying with you. So Absolutely. This is the nice thing about it. And also passengers, you have people flying with you. Some people they come say hello to you. So every time you have different kind of people.
Yeah. Actually, a good point on that. So I mean, you must be seeing different types of passengers and anything like that. So has there been any situations where there were sexist or anything like that, and you had to handle a situation like that? So far you've been good.
Yeah, I wish if I had, because I was wishing someone would talk to me about the issue, so I can actually give them my opinion about it. But I never had any kind of this kind of situation. Everybody was so happy. Everybody was so excited about it, and they were welcoming the changes happening in the country and in the fields. They want to go, a long time back, everybody was expecting, okay, one day there's something will be changed. So it was a good change, a great change to see.
Yeah. I also want to ask a little bit about your mental health, right? Because this is a very high stress, and what does that impact have to do with your mental health? Because you must have a lot of things on your mind. How do you cope with it? Do you have any strategies that you kind of do in order to keep up in a positive mindset so that you don't get distracted and things like that? Because of course, you are a human being. You have your personal stuff and everything that's going on, and this on top of that. So what kind of impact does that have on your mental health?
For sure, as I said earlier, whenever you're going for a flight, you have to make sure your mental health and your health is is totally in a healthy way, in a very good, a state of mind, because when are you going to the cockpit, it's totally different. You're not the same person. Because when you go into the cockpit and sit at that place, you have lots of responsibilities and you have to forget everything. So whenever you're entering this place, you have to make sure you are perfectly fine and not having any kind of issues, mentally or health issues or anything. You have to cut it off everything, and then you have to do your responsibility. Because first, in the airline industry, they say first that you have to be all right in order to keep people safe and your aircraft safe.
Right. Like, it sounds like, you're so into this, like, you have to make sure that you're mentally okay in order to get this going. So it's very inspiring to hear that, this is the mindset.
I saw people, I'm just going to add one point. I saw one from one of my friends, his mother passed away when he had a flight. So you just, you think what kind of mental health he was going through. So,
I have no words for that. That's,
I'm just giving an example. So he had an order from the management to cancel his flights in order to continue, so another crew came up. So, this much, the mental health is very important in aviation field, especially for pilots.
Absolutely. So, no, that's a very good point as well, because, you never know, something could just happen in the minutes before the flight, and you have to make sure that you acknowledge that and you put the right safety precautions on there too. So, no, thank you for sharing that example. We're going to take another short commercial break, folks. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at the future of aviation, especially for women, and share more stories from Yasmeen as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
It's good to dream big, to own a house and a business. Get residential and business loans. Get insurance to protect your dreams. Get your children in university education without monetary worries. Invite your family from back home to share your success in Canada. Me and my team of professionals will help you under one roof to settle down in Canada.
Amber Financial and Allied Services. Call now. 647-887-1696. Amber Financial and Allied Services. All services under one roof.
दावत इस्लामी का एक शोबा जामियतुल मदीना, जिसकी तकरीबन 891 ब्रांचेस दुनिया के कई ममालिक में कायम हैं। कमोबेश 67,000 इस्लामी भाई और इस्लामी बहनें बगैर किसी फीस के आलिम और आलिमा कोर्स कर रहे हैं। इनमें हजारों वो हैं जिनकी अकोमोडेशन, खाना पीना दावत इस्लामी के जिम्मे है। आप भी डोनेशंस के जरिए इस शोबे के साथ ताउन कर सकते हैं। आपके चंदे यानी डोनेशन को किसी भी जायज दीनी, इस्लाही, फलाही, रूहानी, खैर ख्वाही और भलाई के काम में खर्च किया जा सकता है।
GTA का सबसे ज्यादा देखा जाने वाला टीवी चैनल आवाज एंटरटेनमेंट के साथ मिलकर बनाए आपके बिजनेस को और भी बेहतर। हम आपके कंपनी या बिजनेस को एक अनोखे अंदाज में पेश करेंगे, जिससे आपके बिजनेस में और ज्यादा इजाफा होगा। हमारे फेसबुक, यूट्यूब और वेबसाइट को रोजाना लाखों लोग देखते हैं। हमारे पास हर किसी के एडवर्टाइजमेंट की जरूरत के हिसाब से पैकेज अवेलेबल हैं। आज ही 416-786-9809 पर कॉल करें और अपना एडवर्टाइजमेंट बुक कराएं। आवाज एंटरटेनमेंट, आवाज आपकी, चैनल हमारा। जुड़िए हमसे।
Engage in CCTV security cameras, doorbell video and alarm system installation since last 20 years in Toronto. Certified team of professionals serving Ontario completed many residential and commercial projects successfully. High-ranking reviews on Google, Better Business Bureau and Home Stars. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. For free estimate, call Firoz Khan at 647-504-8325 or visit ASEAN Technology, Gateway of Communication. अगर आप चाहते हैं खूबसूरत विजिटिंग कार्ड, साइन बोर्ड्स, बिल बोर्ड्स, तो कॉल कीजिए अमनदीप सिंह को 416-577-5128 416 Digital Sign.
Welcome back to Canadian Mosaic, folks, and we are here with Captain Yasmeen from Saudi Arabia. And before the break, we talked a little bit about, struggles of a pilot and what it takes to become a pilot itself. But let's take a different look at to see what the future of aviation look like, and a little bit of emphasis on, women in this field, because that's something that we need to kind of focus on as well. So Yasmeen, we talked a little bit about this earlier as well. So a lot of the tasks are now, which we used to be manual, are now computerized. What does the future of aviation look like, right? Because, of course, the human element has to be there, but more and more automation is kind of happening. So can you give some insights in terms of, what that actually looks like for pilots and beyond?
Honestly speaking, these days, especially you can see in last 3-4 years, women doing really great in aviation field. As I said even earlier, you can see female pilots, mashallah, they're increasing, the numbers increasing internationally in US, in India especially, like they're doing like such a great job. Like you're having, too many, I think the highest number in the female pilots is in India. And then you have like all the Middle East, mashallah, also increasing. So looking at that, I believe in the future of, you can say a couple of years, you're going to see a lot of female pilots and female joining in aviation field and also holding top management positions. Because I think we have like 3 to 4 airlines, their CEOs actually a female, a lady. So I believe even in the future of Saudi Arabia, inshallah, soon you're going to see a woman holding such kind of positions very soon, inshallah.
Yep. And that's so funny because that was my next question, actually. It's like you read my script in advance. I understand that, being a woman has caused a lot of, political challenges with your career itself, applying for jobs and they're just declining for a reason. In your opinion, what could be made easier specifically for women in Saudi to take up on this, this field of, pilot and in the aviation field? Because a lot of people might have that hesitation, do I need to go through this? Do I need to face all of this? But if you had to give some, feedback to these kids, or even what could be done that's more that could be made easier for women?
Okay, so let's be honest here, okay? Like I'm gonna say it, in a couple of years, we see a lot of women like coming up, mashallah, with the degrees, with the licenses and with the aviation licenses, with commercial pilot license coming up and joining the airlines as well. So it's all open here. The things are not same as many years back. Now things are improving and changing, and mashallah. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is really supporting women in all the fields. So, mashallah, all the doors are open for them. All they have to do, just be ahead of the game. Just be focused on your goals and just what do you want exactly. For example, if you want aviation, just keep working on yourself in that way. For example, when you want to join aviation, you have to work on your English. You have to work on certain things in you. For example, in high school, you have to get good grades, let's say, okay? So work on all this in order to, have your dream job to be there for you.
Right. Oh, that's excellent advice. In order to keep yourself well-rounded, in a sense, like you need to be able to adapt to a lot of different things. So Yasmeen, like, what are some things that you wish you've known before entering this field? Because once you got in, you must have learned tons of other things that you didn't expect, right? What is something that you wish you had known before?
Okay, if you ask me what the wish I've known before, maybe I do one more thing. I do my bachelor's degree as well during my training. Before my pilot training, I will do bachelor's degree as well. It's not required here, but I wish if I had something extra, maybe it will push me more towards my dream job. But after getting my license, I did my bachelor's degree, as I said, and now I'm doing my master's degree in aviation safety. But I wish if I had gone through bachelor's degree before doing my training. So this is the one thing maybe I regret not doing it.
I think it was always a form of learning, I think. So you always have to go through it in order for you to learn. Are you familiar with Amelia Earhart, by the way? But she's the first U.S. Okay. So she set a lot of records in the U.S., right? So with respect to commercial airline travel. So what are your thoughts on that? Because she set a lot of examples about she read books and a lot of flights, and she had an unfortunate ending. But what are your thoughts on her? And is she a bit of your motivation, or what are your thoughts on her?
She is, something like we cannot even say like she's my inspiration. She's something, like a god in aviation. Sorry to say that, but she is something so big. Like every girl, every woman should look at her, and
Yeah.
they wish to be like her. And alhamdulillah, I'm not gonna say like I'm there yet, but I'm doing my level best. This is
Yeah.
my dream to open the door. Alhamdulillah, I can say in certain ways I did this, to open this door for other female pilots here in Saudi Arabia. To,
Yeah.
because when one person started, everybody start opening the same door for all the female pilots in Saudi Arabia. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not gonna say like she's my motivation, because she's more than a motivation. Like something so big we cannot even like she's an inspiration. In the real world, she is the biggest inspiration for all women, not just women, for everyone in
Right.
aviation.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're kind of like, exemplifying a bit of her traits as well, too, being the first woman that is kind of, going and doing something that's not very common,
Yeah.
right? So, so Amelia is someone in the past. You're kind of like
Yeah.
the person that's in the present at the moment. So perhaps in the future, you'll take up some of the opportunities, say, writing some books and things like that, just to help the next
I
generation of
will.
people around. Yeah, continue.
Prashant, what I want to do, I want to do all this, and I'm not going to say I'm going to be like her, but, I want to make it easy for all the female pilots and all the women who wants to do something in their lives. I want to do something for them. For example, for having any, community for female pilots in Saudi Arabia. I want to do something so big. So whenever they have any questions, whenever they need any help or anything, so we will be there to support them.
Wonderful,
This is
wonderful.
what I want to do in the future.
Yeah. Actually, that was actually my next question. So, in terms of Yasmeen, and your 10, 15 years from now, so what does that look like? Do you want to be that voice that encourages people? Do you want to be that support system? You want to build a community of people that help specifically women per se? Because I think there's not enough resources out there, specifically for this field, and a little bit of mental wellness and everything, right? So, would that be
Yes.
something that you'll be looking to set up like much later down the line?
Exactly. It's a very nice question, actually. But I'm not going to wait for 10, 15 years more.
Yeah.
I'm planning, inshallah, within this couple of years, I'm going to have a good community system here, which will help all the women pilots in Saudi or in Middle East. And we will have like some kind of center where they can go, they can learn, they can sit with the pilots, with male pilots as well, so they can educate them. They can tell them what happens in flight schools and what to expect in the training, what not to expect, and all this kind of good information should be given.
No, that's brilliant. Like, I'm glad you're not waiting for the future, because I think the better time is now, because we need to kind of educate the younger generation and kind of get them on board and making sure that this is an area that you should look into.
Exactly.
Because I think that oftentimes when they do segregate occupations, aircraft and airline is kind of like men, so it's good that we're seeing a lot more women out there too, so it's definitely inspiring as well. So before we wrap up the show, Yasmeen, so do you have anything that you want to say to the audience that's currently watching you? So maybe a summary, maybe some takeaways, some mottos, or anything like that. So your chance to say anything that you'd like to the audience.
One message I really want to convey for everyone: whenever you're going for this field, for aviation field, if it's for pilot training, for engineering, for anything, you should learn a lot about it before actually going for the training itself. For example, read more books about it and learn more about it. And first of all, you should know if, for example, being a pilot, if there is any pilot job required in your country. Actually, do not do just this training for your own risk. Just know that actually your country requires more pilots, more engineers. For example, some countries they're enough with their pilots. They don't have jobs. Okay, and don't just depend on one thing. If you are doing your pilot training, do something else as a backup plan in your life. Don't be depend on just only one major, and you can be completely rely on that. Just keep educating yourself in everything possible way.
No, that's
Always
brilliant.
have backup plans.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's really good advice, Yasmeen. So I want to say, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing us your story and your inspiration and all the things that you shared with us today. And again, congratulations on being the first women pilot to got your license and also started becoming a pilot herself in the airline industry. So on behalf of the Awaz Entertainment and the viewers, we wish you success in your aviation journey as well as your career and your life as well. So
thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
Honor.
Yeah. That's all we have time for today, folks. I'm your host, Prashanth, as part of Canadian Mosaic. And if you've enjoyed the show, please do follow us on social media. Remember, just like Yasmeen said, always be persistent, work hard, and never give up on your dreams. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you same time next week.